Thank you once again for having me here. I always just really look forward to being with you. Today, the title of my talk is "The Heart is Beyond Words." So, paradoxically, I'm going to use a lot of words to describe what's in my heart. But I wanted to share a couple of stories and a prayer that really inspired this talk. And it's a prayer from Reverend Regina Donacre's book, Thoughts of Awakening. It's number 340. But before I share that particular thing with you, it really brought up a lot for me. And so I'm going to tell you a story of my earliest memory. And this is actually in the summertime. And I was pre-verbal. Like, I can't even believe I remember this. But I must have been in, like a crib or a playpen or something like that. And I just remember it really vividly. And of course, I was in Alabama. It was the summer. It was probably, I don't know, it was hot. It was hot. So my mom had the window open in my room. And I was sitting there, and a bird flew in and sat on the windowsill, on that open window. And like I say, this is pre-verbal, so I'm not going, "Hey, birdie," but my heart, which is beyond words, connected with that bird. Wow. And that's something I have remembered all these years. So what that brings up for me is like, of course I didn't have words for this until way later. And as I was contemplating what I wanted to share with you and that story came up, I realized that pre-verbally, I wanted to connect with my heart's desire, which was to do the will of God. But I didn't know those words at that time. But I did discover as we went to church, and I was raised in all of that, in Methodist church, I loved going to church. And when I first heard about the will of God, I didn't see it as something separate from who I am. I didn't have this struggle going on about, is it my will or God's will? Of course, I was still young, and I hadn't left Alabama, I hadn't moved to New York City yet, I had experienced, all those things. But I remember that as carrying me through almost, I reflect on it now as when I'm having a hardship or something, and I remember that bird. So it's been a real thing for me. So my heart's desire. What is my heart's desire? It is to do God's will. Now, I really think that's all of our true heart's desire. But, as we grow up and we're conditioned in the world and all those things, we forget about our true heart's desire. But I do believe that that's what it is, and that's what all of us share. And we describe it in different ways, and there's many ways to describe it and many ways to live it. But what does that mean to me? So I'm going to offer a couple of things. What came up for me first off at this point in my life, what is the will of God? Well, to let things be exactly as they are. Well, this has been a year of like, yeah, okay, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. And yeah, that's God's will for me. To be in this place of surrender, to let things be exactly as they are, whether I like it or not. Because the love, the heart that is beyond words carries me through those places that I don't like. And I can feel all those things that I don't like. It's okay. I can even rage, It's okay. My heart's desire is still to be with doing the will of God, to let things be exactly as they are. And so you probably know this one, but A Course in Miracles lesson number 101 says, God's will for me is perfect happiness, right? So, I know, right? Yay! But, so what is perfect happiness, though? Is it that I'm always on a cloud? No. No, it's not. You know what? One thing I've discovered about perfect happiness is, for me, it's being able now that I have words for it, being able to notice the mind chatter, right? To really notice that instead of letting it. And I've spoken about this many times, but it really is my lesson for this year for sure. But to know the difference, so for many years, as I forgot who I was, truly, mind chatter just ran the show, right? Oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's really true. What? So this has been a great gift, to be able to distinguish what's true and what's not true. And for me, that is perfect happiness. So, I was actually doing this morning. It's very funny. On the drive over, because I was staying with Lisa last night and we were driving over on the highway, and fear began to creep in. Ooh, look, I'm so scared. There's all this snow and God, and so I began to understand, I began to do the thing where I do, oh, hey, mind chatter, what's the truth of the situation? So the truth of the situation is, I trust my brothers and sisters that are one with me. This is what was going on with me while I was driving over. So what I mean is, I'm trusting everybody on the road. I'm trusting the trucks in front of us that were plowing the road. Wow, thank you. We hit the highway at a perfect time because we were right behind the snowplow. So they had already plowed. So, the perfection of all of that. But I can choose to go into the voice that's like, scare. I can do that if I choose to. So, this is where I want to read you Regina's prayer and do a little commentary because I think it's so cool. So, she says, Holy Spirit, it is my will that I do your will. It is my will that I do your will. Yeah, it is. However, I am aware of a voice in me that is not your voice or your will. Wow. True that. Yeah, I know that voice. Well, I guess probably, I'm sure we all do. For me, it's the voice that says, that keeps me really from perfect happiness by telling me, by promising me that perfect happiness will come if I work harder, be better, be the best, separate myself from others so I can protect myself, right? And earn love by being special. Well, guess what? We don't have to earn love. It's already there. It's beyond words. It's in our heart. It's who we are. But isn't this the funniest thing, how we go back and forth? And I find this fascinating, not only fascinating, but actually, like, even one of the purposes of even being here. Because if I didn't do this journey of, I think I'm separate from God, then we wouldn't be sitting here right now. And this is really pretty much an amazing, glorious journey no matter what happens, you know. Then she goes on to say, I chose this voice, speaking of the voice that is not your Holy Spirit's voice or Holy Spirit's will, God's will. I chose this voice and gave it permission to speak in my mind. Wow. I hadn't quite broken it down like that before, but I did choose this voice and I did give it permission to speak in my mind. And for many years, that was really the controlling factor. But now I can make another choice. So here we are. It's all about choice. Huh. And it's all okay. I can make either choice I want to make. It is my choice now to return to my will, which is also your will, because our will is one and the same. So when I was choosing when I choose the voice of separation, which happens, it's not, it happens every day. I have to sort of, negotiate and go back and forth. Well, when I was really on the train of, the voice of separation, I'll say, it pushed me. It was like, like I said, work harder, be better, push, achieve, blah, da, da, da. And yeah, I achieved some things. I'm happy about that. I'm proud of the things I've achieved and all of that. But, what did I really achieve? I mean, I love the fact, that I have these trinkets and mementos that remind me of wonderful moments in my life, and those were wonderful moments in my life. And that was God's will. That was God's will. But I wasn't really conscious that it was God's will. And so my point that I'm trying to make right here is that even when we're not conscious, our heart still leads the way. Because it's who we are. And those years that I spent, working and achieving and trying to do all these things, led me to this place now of open-hearted acceptance and vulnerability, which I kind of just walk around with. And I thought that was dangerous. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling, but just to to be open-hearted felt like that was dangerous. So now I choose differently. Yay! Let me go to the next paragraph. So now I choose differently. And she prays, help me to leave the habits I have formed and return home to my heart and my truth. Yeah. Let me leave those habits. They're ingrained. We all have them in different areas, But how about if I'm willing to leave those ingrained habits and return home? Yeah. Striving, competing, comparing. I've been listening to a teacher by the name of Sunny Sharma. He's on YouTube if you want to look him up. he's a great meditation teacher. And this is the one reason why I call him a great meditation teacher is because what he says about these thoughts and these habits of, the world striving, convening, all of that stuff, is he goes, lose interest in them. Now that's funny to me because do you guys remember that, that sketch on Saturday Night was a long time ago. And I even forgot the actor now, but he was playing a psychiatrist, and his client comes in, and she goes, all this stuff is happening, I just hate it, it's all, blah, 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 I just hate it, I hate all this stuff, and so what do I do, And he goes, here is my advice. Stop it! Just stop it! Well, I just think that's hilarious. And so I'm listening to Sonny, and he goes, just lose interest in them. Just like it's just the easiest thing in the world. Just lose interest in those thoughts, And I'm like, well, maybe it is easy. I never, let it be easy. How about if I try that, I'm willing for it to be easy to lose interest. So that's where I am right now. I'm kind of, entertaining and this idea of just lose interest in those thoughts, And let me see my life as a gift, not as an obstacle. Now, this is one of those things for me that has been hard over this year, is to see this life that I'm living now as a gift. Grief does crazy things, and it pops up in strange ways at strange times, And I know we've all experienced that because we've all lost people that we dearly love. And to see this life that I'm living right now, just exactly the way it is as a gift. Okay. I'm willing to be willing to do that. Not quite exactly all the way there, but I'm willing to be willing. It's just, a challenge. Then she goes on to say, show me when I have slipped and begun to forget who I am. Yeah. That reminds me of A Course in Miracles. Show me the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. Wow. Show me the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. That's not always a pleasant revelation. But that's okay. Even in the midst of unpleasantness, my heart is still leading the way. Your heart is still leading the way. It's still all about love, no matter what the question is. So, this is my prayer today. It's not perfection, but remembrance of who I am, not trying harder, but softening. Not striving so hard to effort to be a good spiritual student or whatever I think I'm supposed to be, but being willing to be shown step by step. Show me when I have slipped and begun to forget who I am, that I may surrender the will I no longer want and return home to your will and my heart. Yeah. So, as we embrace this time of year, with all the myriads of things that we have to do and people that we see, gifts that we buy, all these beautiful things, and sometimes it can be challenging, frustrating, like, to coordinate everything and get it all done. I mean, that's a challenge sometimes we face in this time of the year. So when we're going about our business this holiday season, I'd like to offer a prayer that says, Holy Spirit, lift us out of the voice of separation and guide us back to the voice that likes us, that loves us. Let our heart lead the way. Let us know that this wonderful heart that we have can hold everything. Everything. Help us remember our shared will that all of us have, the will and the desire to follow the will of God. Spirit, help us to return to our heart that is beyond words and to live there. And so I say, blessed be. And so it is.